Hey, hi, hello. Welcome to Diana Emerson. Today we are listening to um, a marathon, watching the detectives. This is called Headshot.
I'm working in the 81st precinct in Brooklyn, in New York nights, or 4 to 12 in Bedford-Stuyvesant precinct. Sometimes you never go home. They get a phone call that we had a homicide. And we go to the scene and we notice from the uniform cops that there's an apartment building where they tell us to come up to the sixth floor. And in the apartment, they said that somebody was killed by the bed. My partner and I go upstairs and we start talking to the police officers who inform us that they noticed that there were a lot of crack files on the floor. The uniform cops also informed us that they believed that it might have been a forcing, where this guy was coming home and someone might have forced him into the apartment. And we concurred with the same findings that the uniform cops had. The individual was lying on his knees, face down. I noticed through the pillow that there was a bullet hole through it. So we knew that the perpetrators that were involved in this executed this individual, but we didn't know why. They get a phone call that we had a homicide. And we go to the scene. My partner and I go upstairs and we start talking to the police officers who inform us that they noticed that there were a lot of crack files on the floor. The uniform cops also informed us that they believed that it might have been a forcer, where this guy was coming home and someone might have forced him into the apartment. We knew that the perpetrators executed this individual, but we didn't know why. We do a canvas. Nobody saw anything. Someone said they saw this guy come in the building, but that was it. They noticed him coming in, and he noticed us go to his apartment, but they didn't notice anything else. We determined that he came home between the hours of maybe 7 and 8 o'clock, and that the individual, the murder took place around that time, because we know through the coagulation of the blood that was in the bed and the lividity of the body that certain things occur within hours, especially if it's a homicide victim. With the crack files indicated to us that possibly this guy had a crack problem, but we didn't know why someone would want to kill him. Maybe it was a bad drug deal. Maybe he bought some crack from a dealer and didn't want to pay for it. Maybe somebody tried to rob him. We had a lot of scenarios that we really didn't know what to do. We realized that this person who was killed went to the church. And we realized that he was an organist. He came from a pretty well-to-do family, very well educated. And after we spoke with the family, they didn't seem to know what happened to him. And we knew basically whatever happened to him from the area. I get a phone call from a kid I know who's in the area, who knew me, and he said, "Hey, Parker, I got something to tell you about that murder." I meet the kid somewhere, and he tells me that basically he heard that an individual by the name of Lil Gotti, a person in Taurus, so when he was telling that Lil Gotti that he was a really bad guy, that this kid was known to carry guns and shoot. He didn't seem to know much about Gotti, but he knew about Torres. He knew that he saw a girl in the neighborhood. The kid said, "Can you give me some money for this?" So I gave him like $20. And he said, "Look, if I see this kid in the neighborhood, want me to call you?" And I said, "Sure." So while I'm back in the precinct, I'm getting nowhere with running Lil Gotti. That comes up to hundreds and hundreds of people that use that name after the famous Gotti. A day or two went by, and I get a phone call from this kid. And he goes, "Hey, Parker, you got the kid you're looking for, Torres? He's in the neighborhood." And he says, "You can't miss him. He's wearing military fatigues." He says, "Look, you got to come right now because he may not stay here for long." We go over, and sure enough, I pull up on the scene and I locate this kid within seconds. I jumped on this kid before he even knew what hit him. And I said, "You're Torres, right?" And he goes, "Yeah." So I told the girlfriend he'd be talking to you a little bit later. He has to come with us right now. a hoard of cash there. This kid was started lying to me for the first 5 minutes. But then when I started bringing out facts to him and then I knew that he was there and I had a witness, he started getting a little bit nervous. So within 20 minutes, he confessed and told me everything. Little guy did it. Okay, he's crazy. That's the guy you're looking for. Little guy. They saw this man coming out of a check cashing place in the neighborhood while they were hanging out. And they followed the man home to his apartment building. And when he got there, Gotti pulled the gun on him and they forced him in the apartment building at gunpoint. While they're in the apartment, they took the little money that the man had on him. And then they made the man kneel down on the side of the bed. Gotti took a pillow and put the pillow over the man's head and shot him. He said they ran out of the apartment. He said he went home to where he lived and Gotti went to where he lived. And he said that he never saw Gotti again. He said, I never saw Gotti again and never spoke with him again. So I asked him anything about little Gotti he could tell me, and during my interrogation of him. And he told me basically that he was in jail with him in the Queen's house and that they were incarcerated together, but he didn't know his real name, maybe A, something with A, Alex or Alan. He wasn't really sure. We take the kid and we put him in a cell. I started thinking to myself and I said, wait a minute. I got a brother who works in the Queen's house, in the Queen's courts. I give you the information that the guy's name might be Little Gotti, and he goes, that doesn't help me. And I go, okay, well, maybe his name is Alex or Alan. Is this age? I said he had to be in your facility between this year and this year, and that's all I have on him. So my brother was pretty sharp. He came back with 2 names, and he said, I got 2 individuals that fit that description from that time. I said, give me both of their names so I can run both of them, just to check. And I got photographs of these kids, and I showed the picture to Mike, the kid who informed me in the street. And I said, look, does this look like Little Gotti? And the kid immediately picked him out. I said, that's him. That's Little Gotti. I get a phone call from my old partner Pete about a murder that happened down in Park Slope involving 2 women that were alternate lifestyle individuals, which means they lived together, lived an alternate lifestyle. They would come home from a softball game, and they were accosted by a man with a gun who forced them into their apartment. While they got in the apartment, he tied up one of the girls while he was raping the other. The other girl broke free and charged at him, and he took the gun, shot him, and killed him. But the other girl who had survived, she was a composite. And then the composite looked just exactly like this guy Little Gotti I was looking for. I'm looking high and low for this guy Little Gotti. I'm looking in his neighborhood. I'm going to his house. Man, I want to get this guy so bad because he's out here killing people, and now it's personal. I got to catch him. And I learned of another shooting that happens a couple days later, where a woman's going to her car, and an individual's trying to rob her at gunpoint, take her car, and he shoots her in the head, but she survives. I learned that it's Little Gotti. And what happens ultimately next is that they have a task force now trying to locate Little Gotti. He got into a dispute with his girlfriend. When you're really home, all you do is think about my girlfriend to me. Julie calls up and says, hey, this guy you're looking for, Little Gotti, that's my boyfriend. We immediately decide that we want to surprise him. We want to get this guy before he has a chance to get a gun because of the brutality of the murders and what he's done, it was better for us to get the jump on him. Once we're in the apartment, we hear a knock on the door. Open the door. I know you're in there. Open the door. My key's not working. We open the door. And bam, we grab him. What stuck in my mind about this case was that it was really personal. It was personal because I kind of felt bad for the first victim that was killed, and certainly for the woman that was killed secondly. And then him shooting someone else again, it was just personal, and I knew that I had to go and stop this guy before he hurt anybody else. So the end result of this case was that, like the real Gotti, this guy is going to spend a long time in jail.
I started out my career in the 7-5 precinct on patrol in East New York. From there, I entered the investigative track into narcotics, in which I stayed in Brooklyn North. When I did receive my detective shield, I went to Manhattan South Detective Bureau, where I thought at the time I'd be living a nice, easy life. But far be it from me, it ended up catching one of the worst homicides that I've ever had the experience of investigating. You get a call from St. Vincent's Hospital of a male shot. We respond to the hospital and we start talking to this male. He tells us he was walking down the street, went out for a walk and heard a pain and felt a sting in his knee. Looks down and shot in the knee. So that's the story he's sticking with. Where you from? You know, after talking to him, he's from Newark, New Jersey. So I'm like, isn't that kind of a far walk? I got carried away, I didn't realize what was going on. I just went out. So he's sitting with that story for a good couple of hours. We'll start getting calls of a body that is found on Prince Street. So now we get to the scene, we set up a crime scene, the district attorney's involved, the medical examiner's there, and then we find out through identification that the body on Prince Street is also from Newark, New Jersey. So now I'll say we got a body here from Newark, New Jersey. We got a guy in the hospital shot in the knee from Newark, New Jersey. This is obviously related. So let's go back and talk to him again in the hospital. How you feeling today? We still, same story. I got shot in the knee. I don't know what happened. I was walking to the store in the middle of the night. I got shot in the knee. So finally leave it alone for a little bit. A few days go by, and now he's ready to be released from the hospital. So we called the district attorney's office, let them know that this guy's going to be released. And basically, if he's released, sent back to Newark, we'll never see him again. So the district attorney says, listen, can you try to bring him down to my office? We'll interview him. We'll see if we can get any further. We go to the hospital. We pick him up. He voluntarily comes with us. Now we talked to him for 2 hours. Because I'm tired of lying. Because I'm tired of this. Because I'm having nightmares for the last 4 nights. Because all I do is see this over and over again. All right. He goes, I can't lie anymore. He goes, I'm tired of it. I just want to let you know my brother's the one that shot me. But if you're going to make the arrest, he goes, you have to put me in the witness protection program because there is nobody that I am more afraid of than my brother. He's basically the leader of the blood gang in Newark. He goes, I'll never make it if he finds out that I told on him. So you got to put me into witness protection. I said, okay. Tell me more. He goes, you didn't mean to shoot me. But he shot me. It was an accident. I go, well, how did he accidentally shoot you? So then he tells us the story as to what happened at the beginning of the night from the beginning. He borrows a girl's car, a friend of his. They all get in the car. They want to go out to a club in Manhattan, in Midtown. Apparently, all gang members, they all get together on Thursday nights. They all go out and have a good time. They all party all night long. So it's about 4 a.m. They decide they want to leave now. So they all pack themselves into the car. They're making their way towards the Holland Tunnel again. This way they can get back home again to Newark. So as they're driving downtown, a victim who's sitting in between the leader of the blood gang and the brother decides he wants out of the blood gang. He didn't like the pension system. He wanted out of the gang. But apparently he didn't take into consideration the ricochet factor on the back of a car. So the bullet ricochets around and hits his own brother, who's sitting on the left side of the victim in the right knee. They still continue driving. They get to Delancey Street. When they look over, they realize that the brother might not make it back to Jersey. He's bleeding so much that they decide, you know what, let's stop the car. We got to get him out. I got to call an ambulance for him. Our shooter gets out of the car, goes right on the other side, opens the door, takes his brother, pulls him out of the car, and says, listen, bro, I love you, but I got to leave you here. So he puts him down the street, gives him a kiss on the cheek, gets back in the car, drives off. The brother's standing there, waving to him in the rearview mirror. He makes it down to Prince Street. They realize they still have a body in the back of the car. They pull over in the middle of the block. The two guys get out. They take the body out. They just throw him up on top of the sidewalk. Get back in the car, drive in. Now they make their way back. They cut through the Holland Tunnel. They're back home now. So the first thing they do is they go back to the girl's house who they borrowed the car keys. They say, listen, there might be slight mess in your car. You might have to clean it up, but sorry, no, nothing we can do about it. So I'll take care of it. Good luck. Thanks for the call. Now the hunt is on. We figured it would be possible to find these two guys. But lo and behold, Manhattan South Homicide, within 2 days, locate him in this building in Newark with the help of the Newark, New Jersey Robbery Homicide Squad. But they knew who he was, so they picked him up right in his building. It was the type of area in Newark, New Jersey where they don't rake leaves in the fall. They rake up shell casings from around the building and they recycle them. That's how many people are getting shot in that area over there. And so I go out to Newark, New Jersey. He's in the interview room. He's sitting there by himself with his hands folded, staring at the wall. So now I try to talk to him. He doesn't say a word. Doesn't even ask for a lawyer. And finally, after about an hour or so, I get out of the room. And one of the Newark detectives pulls me up and says, listen, don't feel bad. You're not going to get anything out of him. The witnesses or the victims always end up missing or they don't cooperate. He's not going to talk. He knows the game. He's a stone cold killer, and that's just the end of the story. So I got no problem. So we're thinking we have a perfect witness. And you know what? Who cares? We're going to wrap this up anyway overnight. So then we call up the district attorney's office. We tell them what we have. And then out of nowhere, the district attorney was like, well, I don't think we have enough to arrest him yet. So I'm looking around like stunned, like, excuse me? He goes, yeah, I don't believe the brother's story anymore because back when he was 10 years old, he lied to the New Jersey police on a report. So I don't think he's going to be a credible witness. So we're like, well, what do you want us to do? He said, well, they're going to have to either, find new evidence or get a corroborating witness for it. So then we're like, they're not going to extradite him, they're not going to do the warrant. And New Jersey had nothing to hold him on either. So basically, we had to cut him loose. Now he's smiling at us, waving to us on the way out of the precinct. Take care. So we're like, now we're back at square one. We're like, I can't believe this. The guy that we let go, the shooter, now feels somebody ratted him out. So he doesn't think it's his brother. He doesn't think it's his buddy who's in the car with him. So the only other person he can think of is this girl whose car they borrowed. The next morning, he goes to the girl's house, waits for her outside. She goes down early in the morning to work with her 6-year-old kid. She goes to get in her car, puts the key in her car. He pulls up behind her, hits her in the head. She hits the ground, leaves the 6-year-old kid laying there, sitting there, and takes off in another car. So now she's gone. That angle's gone now, too. So now we have nothing to do. There's nothing we can do about that. So now we're thinking, just when all hope is lost, we get a call now from New Jersey that the other guy we were looking for is arrested for heroin possession. They also tell me he's on parole. So I'm like, this is beautiful. This is great now again. Everybody's happy again. We're ecstatic, So by the time we head out to Newark, New Jersey, we find out that this guy was already arraigned and bailed out and released the ring. So then here we go again. Now we're like, this is ridiculous. We're happy, we're not happy, we're happy, we're not happy. We don't know what to do anymore. 16 bundles of heroin on parole. Parole officer, well, we're not going to violate. Apparently it's not enough. Like, what, you need 17 bundles? Like, what is the cutoff? 16, 17? So they're like, well, that's the way it is. He's bailed out. He's on the street again. Basically, now we think he's gone. There's no way. It's for these two guys to be sticking around now after they've both been brought in. It would be very rare for them to be staying in the same area where they were. So finally, 2 days later, we receive a phone call from the Newark Police Department saying, you are not going to believe this. Your two guys that you're looking for, they're both dead. Oh, they're both dead. Now, apparently, 2 shooters are standing out front of their own building and laughing about hanging out. Out of nowhere comes a guy walking out like through the mist, staggering down the street, babbling incoherently. They exchange words. And within the blink of an eye, this unidentified male pulls out a hand cannon and shoots both of them at point-blank range, killing both of them on the spot. This unidentified male just goes walking off into the sunset, never to be seen or heard from again. It's going to catch up to you either way, whether it's the criminal justice system or street justice. You can run, but you can't hide. And like I always say to myself, too, is, if you want to live by the sword, you're going to die by the sword. And that's exactly what happened in this situation.